I never thought being late on rent would change the course of my life. Started like any other Thursday. I was sitting on the worn couch in my tiny one-bedroom apartment, staring at the stack of unpaid bills on the coffee table. The red stamp that read "Final Notice" glared back at me like a silent accusation. I had been laid off 2 months ago, and though I was picking up shifts at a local diner, it wasn't enough. I'd stretched every dollar, skipped meals, and even sold a few personal items. But the rent was due yesterday, and I had nothing left to give. I heard the knock at the door before I saw his silhouette through the frosted glass. Heavy, firm, rhythmic. I knew it was him. My landlord, David Carson. He was always punctual, professional, even cold. He wasn't the type to chat or check in unless something needed fixing or money needed collecting. And today, clearly, he needed the latter. I opened the door slowly, bracing myself. "Hi, Mr. Carson, David," I corrected quickly, trying to soften the moment with a smile. "I know the rent is late. He held up a hand. "No excuses, Emily. We've been over this." His voice was deep, rough around the edges like gravel under boots. I tried to explain that I'd have half the rent by next week, but he shook his head. "That's not good enough." Silence stretched between us, heavy and tense. I felt like I was shrinking under his gaze, shame burning in my chest. Then, something shifted in his expression. Not softer, but different. Calculating. "There might be another way," he said slowly, eyes steady on mine. "Something that could benefit both of us." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. The air in the room changed. Warmer, closer. I could feel the tension humming between us like electricity under skin. "I'm not trying to take advantage of you," he said carefully. "But you're in a tough spot. And well, I've noticed you, Emily. You're smart, beautiful, alone." I swallowed hard. My heart was pounding, not from fear, but from something I couldn't quite name yet. It had been so long since anyone had looked at me like that. Since anyone had made me feel wanted. "I'm offering a temporary arrangement," he continued. "You stay here rent-free for the next 3 months. In return, we keep each other company. Discreetly." My breath caught in my throat. It was wrong. Every part of my brain told me to say no. But my body, my loneliness, my exhaustion said otherwise. "I don't want you to feel pressured," he added. "You can say no, and I'll give you until Monday to find another solution." But he already knew. We both did. He turned to leave, but before he reached the door, I found myself saying quietly, "Wait." He paused. I don't want to be thrown out. And I don't want to feel used either." He turned back toward me. "You wouldn't be." His voice had changed. Softer now. Almost tender. That night I couldn't sleep. I replayed the conversation in my head over and over. Was this desperation or curiosity pulling me toward him? He wasn't bad-looking, tall, broad-shouldered, somewhere in his mid-40s. There was a confidence in him, something rugged and self-assured that I hadn't seen in a man in a long time. He wasn't my type. But maybe right now I didn't need my type. I needed safety. I needed someone to see me. The next evening I knocked on his door. His apartment was directly above mine. When he opened it, his eyes searched mine like he was waiting for me to change my mind. "I'm not sure what I'm doing," I admitted. He nodded slowly, stepping aside. "We'll take it slow." What happened between us wasn't rushed. He didn't throw himself at me or make crude jokes. He poured me a glass of wine, asked about my art, something I hadn't talked about in years, and listened. Really listened. He touched my hand gently when I laughed, and when his thumb brushed the back of my palm, my breath hitched. The first kiss didn't feel like payment. It felt like recognition, like two people, lost in different ways, finding an anchor in one another. His lips were warm, careful, but hungry underneath the restraint. And when he finally pulled me in closer, it wasn't transactional. It was tender. It was healing. Weeks passed like that. We kept our arrangement quiet, unspoken, never labeling it. But it wasn't just physical. He'd cook me breakfast. I'd leave sketches on his desk. He'd read them and leave notes on the margins like he actually cared. I began to feel something that scared me even more than the arrangement itself. I was starting to like him. Then, one afternoon, it all cracked. I was walking back from the store when I saw a woman standing at David's front door. She was beautiful, confident, and she was holding a child. David's child. He didn't see me. But I stood frozen, hidden just enough behind a tree, watching him greet them both with warmth I hadn't seen before. He smiled differently, softer, familiar. Later that night I asked him, who was she? He didn't lie. My ex. And my daughter. I nodded, trying not to let the heat of betrayal show on my face. So, what am I, David? He looked at me for a long moment. You were someone I didn't expect. It wasn't the answer I wanted. It wasn't an answer at all. I realized then our arrangement had a shelf life. I had been a chapter in his loneliness, not the whole story, and I deserved more than that. So I packed up quietly the next morning, leaving the spare key and a sketch I'd drawn of the two of us on his kitchen table. No note, just silence. I found a roommate and a new place across town within a week. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. Rent was still hard, but I paid every cent of it. No bargains. No blurred lines. Sometimes late at night I still think of David. Of his hands, his voice, the way he held me like I mattered. And maybe I did for a while. But I learned something more important. Being wanted feels good. But being respected, that's everything.